from the news, President Bola Tinubu delivers first speech at United Nations General Assembly. Honor Governorship Election Tribunal sets to deliver judgment, and European Union suspends food aid to Somalia amid threat of. Good afternoon. Today is Wednesday, 5th of Rabiul Awal 1445 after the Hijrah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, equivalent to 20th of September 2020. I'm Abina Ibrahim Shahad. With me. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu gave his inaugural address at the United Nations General Assembly, exploitation to attain prosperity through democratic ideals. According to the president, global institutions, other nations, and their private sector actors must see African development as a priority, not just for Africa, but in their interest as well. He said, due to both long-standing internal and external factors, Nigeria's and Africa's economic structure have been skewed to impede development, industrial expansion, job creation, and the equitable distribution of wealth. Tinubu also touched on the coup in the Niger Republic, where he stated the need to affirm democratic governance as the best guarantor of the people's sovereignty. The president also spoke out on the protracted battle against violent extremism in Africa. In another development, President Bola Tinubu is seeking support for the return of democracy to Niger Republic. The military had seized power in the West African nation some months ago and is yet to vote to pressure from within and outside the continent, while regional border leaders, including Tinubu, have been working for a return to democracy in the country. In his yesterday's speech at the United Nations General Assembly, he reaffirmed that democracy is the best way to guarantee a better society. He also said they must affirm democratic governance as the best guarantor of the sovereign will and the welfare of the people of the Republic. Meanwhile, President Tinubu has ruined the impact of illegal migration, saying the West Africa region is facing a dark channel of inhuman commerce due to it. The president said despite the risks associated with such long journeys across the desert of a better life, he lamented the lowly rated jobs done by some of these migrants when they eventually make it out of the desert. Say the train has made African nations volatile. He further said African nations will improve economies so that the people do not risk their lives to sweep the floors and streets of other nations. The Trade Union Congress of Nigeria (TUC) has given the federal government another week pardon to act on its demand or risk an industrial action making efforts to address their concerns. Sawaba had reported that both parties reached an agreement to allow the government to attend to their demand within 2 weeks. At a virtual meeting by the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria and the Saudi Ministry of Hajj has allocated 95,000 seats to Nigeria for the 2024 Hajj exercise. In a statement yesterday, the Saudi authorities asked Nigeria to conclude all arrangements and negotiations with service providers for catering, accommodation, and transportation within the next 120 days. The leader of the Saudi delegation, Dr. Badr Muhammad Al-Somi, urged NACON to strive to meet up with the timeline in order to enable the ministry to make adequate plans and avoid the incident witnessed during the 2023 pilgrimage. Earlier, NACON Chairman Zikrullah Hassan urged Saudi authorities to expedite action on the refund of the feeding and services. He asked the authorities to disengage from the provision of feeding service and allow Nigeria to take over Muna and Alpha services to give frequent opportunities to enjoy delicacies they are used to at home. From Kano State, the Kano Governorship Election Tribunal is set to give verdict on the petition challenging the election of Abba Kabir. The APC contains that the NNPP's victory should be nullified, citing violations of the Electoral Act of 2022. Access to the court premises is strictly limited, with only few selected journalists granted entry. Also, mobile phones are prohibited within the courtroom. Related to this, the Kano State Commissioner of Police, Hussein Muhammad Gumel, has said over 50 people were given access into the court, deciding over the petitions filed before the Kano Governorship Election Tribunal. Newsmate reported how some journalists were barred from entering the court premises, but the Commissioner of Police said it is the tribunal that limited the number to enter the court. He also said adequate security had been deployed all over the state to ensure peace during and after judgment. The All Progressive Congress APC is challenging the outcome of March 18th governorship election in the state, in which the New Nigerian People's Party NNPP's Abba Kabir Yusuf was returned. Coming to you from the studio of Sawaba Radio is the Global News. Stay with us for more facts. Welcome back. Governor Umar Hamadi of Jigawa State says government officials will be held responsible for the performance of their respective ministries, departments, and agencies and the implementation. This month at the opening of a two-day retreat for members of the State Executive Council and other top government officials. The governor said the event was organized in collaboration with FCGO funded Fire Act program with the theme Accelerating Socio-Economic Development for a Greater Jigawa. He said the government intended to track the activities of the head of MDAs by defining specific milestones and performance indicators. He also expressed concern about the key human development indices that continue to depict a grim picture despite significant achievement and propose the establishment of a robust monitoring and evaluation system to continually appraise performance across sectors and remedial measures when necessary. The Gas State Produce Welfare Board has inaugurated the 2024 Hajj operations. The executive secretary of the board, Laji Ahmad Umar Labo, made this known during a meeting with center officers. He said the board had received 1,518 Hajj seats from the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, adding that already 1,045 seats were dispersed. He said the meeting with the zonal Hajj officers was aimed to review the 2023 Hajj exercise and the way forward, adding that working materials will also be distributed to the zonal Hajj officer in preparation of the 2024 Hajj exercise. The executive secretary said intending pilgrims were expected to deposit 4.5 million naira pending the announcement of the Hajj phase by now. The Ghana State Ministry of Higher Education, Science and Technology has expressed satisfaction with the turnout of students after the third term vacation. The Director of Administration and Finance of the Ministry, Alhaji Rayuwa Abdul Fani, the ministry and other supporting staff by making all the necessary arrangements ahead of the resumption date to ensure normal lessons commence in good time. Schools visited by the director include GGASS Baure, GGDS Marabisawa, and GDSS Obuji, all in Busi Metropolis. Jigawa State Council of the Nigerian Union of Teachers, in collaboration with Ministry of Education, has established 13 NTI special centers across the state. The state chairman of the NUT, Comrade Abdulkadir Yunusa Jigawa, made this known to our reporter. He said the gesture was to enable teachers in Jigawa State have the minimum teaching qualification of NCE. He also said already first and second set of teachers have graduated from the center. On his part, the registrar of the special NTI said the 13 NTI special centers are located in Jaffa, Kiawa, Gwaram, Mujungu, Taura, Babura, Garki, Sultan Karkar, Auyu, Hadija, adding that 326 teachers obtained NCE under the program, while over 800 teachers will soon receive their NCE certificate. And moving to the international scene, the European Union has confirmed its temporarily frozen payment to the World Food Programme for deliveries of humanitarian aid to Somalia. A spokesman for the European Commission, Balaz Uvari, said the move was a precaution measure to safeguard European Union funds. A United Nations investigation has identified widespread theft of aid intended for vulnerable Somali people, with local officials, members of the security forces, and humanitarian workers all involved. As of last year, the European Union spent more than $7 million on World Food Programme operations in Somalia. The United States Agency for International Development said aid to Somalia. And this brings us to the end of today's news. But before I go, here is a recap of the media story. From the news, President Bola Tinubu will deliver first speech at the United Nations General Assembly. Kano Governorship Election Tribunal states to deliver judgment. And from the international scene, European Union suspends food aid to Somalia amid threats. On behalf of the news department, our editor Haruna Ahmad Kutwa, our content announcer Halima Hassan Ibrahim, I'm Amina Ibrahim Shahada. Good afternoon.